Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. So today we are going to get into the Packers running backs. I'm going to take a look at sort of the running back situation, sort of what has changed the past couple of years from, being with Mike McCarthy to being with Matt LaFleur. And, they have different sort of schemes and different ideas of doing things. So I'm going to take a look at those different things and see where I think we'll be this season, in the 2020 season. But if you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Sideline Scoop. My name is Luke Beller. I'm a huge Packers fan, so on this channel I post lots of those kinds of videos. So if you're interested in those kinds of things, feel free to subscribe. We welcome all people, especially Packers fans. So when we look at the Packers team this past couple of years, if we look at 2018, when the Packers still had Mike McCarthy as their coach, they were the #1 team when it came to the percentage of their plays that were passing. So they passed all the time with Aaron Rodgers. And last year, with the first year with Matt LaFleur, when he came in, they became the 16th ranked team in passing percentage, and they actually threw the ball 59.8% of the time. So obviously you can see with Matt LaFleur coming in, he's an entire different scheme than Mike McCarthy. And so obviously it really changes the entire scope of things because Matt LaFleur has an idea of how he wants to run this team. And I think through the draft, we have seen sort of what he has done in a way in which he has built this team and sort of where he wants to take it into the future, which is much different than the way McCarthy looked at things. So if we take a look at the Packers 2019 stats, I'm going to take a look at some of the running backs and sort of what they have done. So if we look at Aaron Jones, obviously he had an amazing monster season. He had a crazy season. I went to one of his games here. I live in Dallas, Texas, actually. My mom's from Wisconsin. That's why I'm a Packers fan. It's in my blood. I've been a Packers fan my entire life. But I actually went to the Packers-Cowboys game last season, and it was crazy. Aaron Jones had that crazy game. He scored 3 or 4 touchdowns. Man, that was crazy. But anyways, Aaron Jones, he ran the ball 236 times for 1,084 yards, and he threw for 16 touchdowns. He didn't throw for 16 touchdowns. What am I talking about? Ran for 16 touchdowns. So Aaron Jones, he played in all 16 games last season. He ran the ball 236 times for 1,084 yards. Congrats, breaking that 1,000-yard mark. Way to go, man. And he ran for 16 touchdowns, which is just crazy. Some of the most in the NFL. And he averaged 4.6 yards per carry. And so he had a monster year. He was obviously, a big factor of the Packers' success. And he also caught the ball 49 times for 474 yards and 3 touchdowns. So obviously with Aaron Jones at the front of this offense, or the front of this rushing attack, you just sort of can't get much better than him. He's been a stud, and he's going to continue to be a stud this season, I believe. And after this season, this is his last year before his contract expires, so I'm hoping that we'll sign him. He's a great player. I guess we'll see sort of what happens with the entire situation. But then obviously next we have Jamal Williams. He ran the ball 107 times for 460 yards with 1 touchdown, 39 receptions for 253 yards. So obviously he was the second guy up. Aaron Jones got the bulk of the carries, but Jamal still got a good solid amount of the carries in the 2019 season. And then we have our man Aaron Rodgers, 46 rushes, 183 yards with 1 touchdown. And Rodgers over his career, of course, he used to be a better rusher because when you're younger, you're a little bit faster, a little bit able to move. You're able to move a little bit faster, but Aaron Rodgers obviously can still move his feet. He can still move around the pocket. Maybe not as good as he used to be, but, he's still got it. And then if we look at the offensive line for the 2019 season, if you look at this stat called adjusted line yards, it basically looks at how well the offense blocks, on a per-play basis. And the Packers actually ranked 5th last season, which is pretty solid. So overall, they had a great offensive line. But the one area where they sort of lacked was in the power rushing rank, which basically looks at on situations of 3rd and short, 4th and short, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, where you're have 1 or 2 yards to go. They ranked 27th, which is sort of crazy. And maybe that's partly the offensive line, partly the running backs. Maybe one of Aaron Jones' weaknesses is that maybe he can't convert those short yard situations. And that is one area where I think the Packers will improve this season. And if we look at what the Packers did this year in the draft with Matt LaFleur and Gutekunst and all that they were, sort of doing in this draft, when we look at a guy like Dillon who comes in, who is, a powerful running back who can sort of just run over people like crazy and can just sort of get those short yardage situations, my opinion is that the Packers are going to use him in that way, and I think that we'll see a big improvement in those short yardage attempts with such a massive guy coming in. I guess we'll see what actually happens, but I think that's really going to be a good benefit for the team in this season. And also with the addition of Josiah DeGuara, the tight end, who's going to be sort of the H-back. He's going to be back there blocking. out there receiving passes as well. But I think he's also going to bring an improvement to this running game because Matt LaFleur obviously just sort of loves to focus on the run. And so that's going to be fun and interesting to watch this season. I think the Packers' rushing attack could be just as good or better. We'll see how it actually all turns out after this season. But one other thing that I'm also excited about is, with the Packers focusing on this rushing attack and really seeming that LaFleur wants to focus on that, considering the Packers didn't draft any receivers. But obviously, I think that means they also have faith in our receiving core right now with the addition of Devin Funchess. We have lots of different guys who could, do well this season. But I think it just is going to sort of set Aaron Rodgers up for that play-action pass. And if teams are really going to have to defend against the Packers' rushing attack, it's going to open the field up much more for Aaron Rodgers when he does do those play-action attempts. So who knows? Overall, this offense could be much better this season. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch and see exactly what does happen and what does go down. But those are basically my thoughts for how I think the sort of rushing attack is going to look this season. We'll see how it actually goes. That is going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you got any value, I'd love if you like the video down below. Feel free to subscribe because I'm going to keep putting out more content on this channel. But that's going to be all for this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.